Hi, and welcome to Free Money in the Market, a podcast where we talk about all things business and economics related. Quick disclaimer before we get started, we do just want to say that everything that we talk about is our own view and that we do not recommend that you take any form of recommendation from us. And with that being said, I hope you enjoy the episode.
Here right now because the stock market just
On the air
opened.
with breaking
It just
news
closed.
and the
Within
turmoil
30
on Wall
seconds.
Street.
You've got this 1,200-point rally.
Start it up. Welcome to this episode of Free Money in the Market. We've got a lot to talk about. We had a pretty interesting week with a couple new news points that we'd like to touch on, and yeah, I think we'll just jump right into it. So what do you guys think about this past week in the market?
Wasn't expecting what happened, but I wasn't expecting the rally, obviously. But I did do some buying. So we'll see. I don't really know what to think, so I'm just going to consistently keep buying, I guess, and hold long term.
Yeah, I think we go a little. I mean, we're going to go lower again, but we'll be choppy for a while. I didn't expect two huge green weeks in a row like we just had, but
That was really
I'm
weird.
not going to complain. But the fact is, see a lot of these stocks that are already 70, 80% off their lows, and it's just insane how quick they've moved.
Yeah, I mean,
It's crazy.
everything just kind of happened so fucking fast. I don't think that we'll retest the lows, but I think that there is a bit of room, obviously, to go down a bit more. But as far as going down to how low we were, I don't think so. I think that if the S&P 500 tests 3,000 and it doesn't break out over 3,000 and falls down below again, then I think we're going to go down a bit. But other than that, I don't see us going down.
S&P goes back to 3,000. I'm selling all my shit.
That's what I said last week. Yeah, I'd be
That's
tempted
crazy. That's crazy.
I know.
That makes
Not
no
right.
sense.
It doesn't at all.
I think we're more likely to go below 2,500 than to go back to 3,000. But if it, I mean, maybe I won't sell everything. Maybe I'll just put a bunch of puts on or something like that. Like I'll buy SPY puts or something. Because there's no way that makes any sense. But I could see it happening. The market's not always rational.
Yeah, and I mean, we can talk about why it doesn't make sense. One reason being Thursday we had our initial jobless claims report, which included 5.2 million more Americans out of work, bringing the total up over 20 million, which is pretty crazy. I think we talked one time on the podcast of like 30% being out of work. I think that puts it at like 20%, I want to say.
Ooh, we should.
I don't think it's.
That'd be. I
not
don't know
that
if it's 20, but
I think
it might be when
30%.
it's all done.
I think 30% was 48 million, so I guess 15%.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's like
Sounds
12,
about right.
13%. Because I think the workforce is what, like 200 million people or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy, and it's just gonna keep on coming. I think that's gonna slow. Obviously, I think this is probably the last time we're over like 5 million in a week. But
Really?
Yeah.
because you can't keep at that pace. Yeah, a lot of the major damage has already been done, but it's crazy, and that's just more money that the states are gonna have to dish out. I mean, it's crazy, and I mean
Well,
they're
how can
still
they
waiting
dish it
for
out? They can't dish it out
Yeah.
anymore. The payment program's depleted. They haven't approved more money for it.
Yeah,
So
but they
I
still
don't
have
understand.
to pay. It's
Yeah.
still like in the bill that they passed that has to be like the 600 extra per week, so they still have to pay it. Like Rhode
But
Island
not everybody.
yesterday. Gina said yesterday, Rhode Island got the first half of their money from the feds.
Okay.
So like it took a while to get there. They just got there like 625 million, and then they're supposed to get the other 625 million like next week for Rhode Island. They only got 1.25 billion out of all the stimulus bill because we're such a tiny state. But I mean, they've been paying these larger unemployment checks even before they got the funding from the feds.
Right. I
So.
wasn't talking more so about the unemployment checks. I was talking about the small business loans. That's been depleted. And
Yeah,
so
that's
so
depleted.
businesses
Yeah, that's
that
gone.
haven't gotten access to that money might not. I mean, or it's going to take more time because more money needs to be approved.
Yeah,
So I don't
they're
know
gonna
what that's
have
going to
to
do to the
that.
stock market.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do another round of it, no question. I mean, none of those small businesses are really public, but it does hurt the
Well, it
overall
hurts the
economy,
economy,
obviously.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, those business owners don't have money in their pockets, and then how are they going to spend it? So
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
And
any sort of delay.
because people are inside quarantining and social distancing, they can't spend it at businesses for the most part too, so it hurts them
yeah,
there too. Um, so I guess another big thing that came out of this week was a couple earnings for more specifically banks. The larger banks all reported this week, which was kind of a shit show, but a shit show to be expected. Um, it was pretty interesting to see like how much of a downturn they've really had in their portfolios. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I said last
I
week,
think
I don't like these banks at all. They haven't acted good before the market when the market was doing well. They weren't acting good, and I don't see why they would act better now. So, not going near the banks.
No.
well, the banks, the stocks haven't done any. If you go back like 15 years, they've barely done anything. Like
Hmm.
since, but like they're pretty much at the level they were before the 08, 09 like
Yeah.
crash for the most part. I mean, obviously there's different like standouts in that group that may not be the case, but I mean, they're just lucky they have a lot of cash on their balance sheets because, I mean, if this same thing happened like it did 12 years ago, they're lucky they're not the ones that have to get bailed out right now. They're doing fine, and they can still. They apparently none of them really cut their dividends yet. So the ones that
Yeah, they
Which is
should.
reported,
shocking to
Should
me.
they
participated,
be
But
cutting their dividends?
they're basic. That's just their way of saying like, hey, we're confident we can keep this going.
yeah, I think that if they do cut their dividends, much like pretty much every other company is doing, it's kind of like Alex said, it's kind of a sign that we're fucked. Um, but because they haven't yet, they're kind of saying that, all right,
Yeah,
we're gonna get out of this, you know?
yeah.
So you think it'd be very bearish if they announced that they were temporarily like cutting their dividend or something?
Yeah.
Some people
Definitely.
could view that as bullish, that they needed to get that out of the way and then the market
I
can kind of price that in, but I'm not sure.
I guess, but a lot of people depend on that dividend income, so it would
Yeah.
screw people over. Like retail and like individual investors, like everyday people. A lot of them in retirement live off dividends, so
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
would that would hurt. That would hurt the consumer even more if you look at it that way.
That's a good point.
Very true. Very true.
But I think the other big point was the retail sales for March, which is the biggest drop in history. 9% doesn't sound that much, like doesn't sound crazy, but apparently that's the biggest drop in history, year over
Yeah.
year.
You thought it'd be
Which
bigger.
is Yeah, you would think it'd be bigger, but that's because the
Yeah.
grocery stores were so high. Like, so it masks the fact that like the traditional like a clothing store is just getting absolutely
Yeah.
destroyed.
I don't
That
think
Yeah,
makes
those
sense.
businesses are ever going to be the same. Like, why would you go inside a store when you can just buy it online? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, certain
Yeah,
businesses are never going to be the same.
we're
yeah,
definitely
Department
gonna be
stores.
we're definitely gonna be weeding out the weak here, like who can't transition their business to online stuff. Like,
Yeah.
why would you go to like a Macy's or something where you can get the same thing online on Amazon for
yeah.
cheaper and you don't have to leave your
Right.
house?
Exactly. It
I
makes no
mean,
sense.
yes, I think down the line, the stores that don't transition to that online uh, fluently and quickly, I think we're going to be weeding them out, and they're going to be the huge outliers that don't come out of this.
Yeah, I mean that was the narrative. Like even like back 2016, 2017 was all about how the rise of e-commerce and everything. But I think an event like this just kind of quickens the pace of
Absolutely.
how soon they're gonna all go out of business. Like it just kind
Yeah.
of adds some like fuel to the flame, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
I also think people are like getting in the habit of buying online if they hadn't done that before. So now you have a whole new group of people, maybe an older segment of the population that is ordering things online for maybe the first time, and they realize how convenient it is. It's safe, it's secure. They don't have to leave their house. So you have all those people building up new habits that were probably the only people that were actually going into those stores
Yeah.
before. So yeah, things like Amazon and Shopify are going to continue to do really well.
The crazy thing is, I just want to add in is I just googled this real quick because I knew it was still crazy low. E-commerce still only accounts for about 12% of retail
Yep.
sales in the country. That's
Yep.
crazy. Like there's 90, I mean, there's 88% of sales that people go in person to go out and like to like a physical store with a physical footprint and buy. And all that is pretty much on pause right now if you think
Yeah.
about it.
I'd be curious to see the breakout of that, to see how much of that is Amazon or like
Yeah.
a Shopify
Walmart. Yeah.
website, Walmart, yeah,
Yeah.
like something. I'd be curious to see because I guarantee you I mean, it's definitely majority Amazon with
Yeah,
probably
definitely.
Walmart coming in second. That's a pretty interesting statistic though.
Yeah. It's insane how much room there is to run. I mean, that's what when I first bought Amazon, that's like what was in the back of my mind. Like they
Yeah,
haven't even they're already huge, but they haven't really taken up a huge share of total like US
yeah,
retail
and
sales.
they're now pushing all-time highs on their stock because
Yeah, yeah.
they're pretty much fuck you proof. So I mean, they're just going up.
I think that's a good strategy for people to invest in though. Like if you look at long-term trends and then you go, okay, what's some like long-term trends like, maybe automatic driving or something like that where the robots drive their car and you don't, things like
Tesla.
that. Those long-term trends, if you can identify those and then pick the companies that are best positioned to, be in that segment of the economy, then you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta be patient.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah,
that's like the 5G stocks like Verizon,
Yeah.
exactly.
who
There's a lot of trends.
will now in like a year and a half hopefully still be on track to be pushing out 5G globally, and they're gonna pop because of that, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah. I like Verizon.
Yeah, I do too. Um, so on top of that, we have some airlines kind of reporting some interesting,
Oh yeah.
interesting
The
statistics that,
guidance, yeah.
yeah, interesting guidance, I should say. Um, what do you guys think about that? How low their usage, I guess, like how little, how few people are going to be flying.
I think it's interesting to see the next few months because this is when like summer months are big for travel. I think that's why American Airlines like put out the warning for May that they only expect like basically a 30th of, if you look at it that way, a 30th of what their plane traffic like passengers were in 2019 because they said in one day they'll fly equal to what they flew in an entire. I mean, in one month they'll fly equal to what they flew in one day last year.
Wow.
So basically
Which is
down
insane.
what? I mean, they're down over 90% probably
Yeah.
thinking for May in terms of air traffic, which is crazy. And I mean, that's a major. I mean,
Yeah.
that's airlines, so that's going to be the same for everyone if you think
And
about it that way.
it's like that too,
Yeah,
where it just happened and now we're kind of there.
and it's going to be at its worst in the summer months when they probably do the best business too. So
And same thing with
be interesting.
cruise lines. Cruise lines are going to be
Yeah,
royally fucked
You
if
wrote
not.
off the whole year. 2020
I
is gone for those
Yeah.
companies.
I threw those to the side. I feel like they're all gonna like just go under at this point. I ignore the cruise lines at this point.
Oh,
It's
100%.
scary. It's a scary business to be in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Don't
go near
like
them.
you can't let all your airlines go under. You can't because what like
You
who's
need
gonna fly?
travel like that.
Yeah,
Cruises
yeah.
aren't essential.
Cruises are
Airlines are
not
essential.
essential at all, so it's a little bit
Yeah,
different.
you're always going to need work travel. You're always going to need to be visiting your family across the
Yeah,
country.
exactly.
But you're not going to need a fucking luxury 5-story cruise that goes from here to the Bahamas in
Yeah,
2
no,
weeks.
Yeah,
exactly.
agreed on that one.
Yeah. So we also have Gilead coming out with that new potential.
Remdesivir, is that them
Yeah.
or?
Is
Yes.
Yeah.
that what it
It's
was? I don't know. I saw it. I
yeah.
read a quick article. Like,
So
on
what the
the-
remdesivir is it's basically like it's not really a preventative drug from my understanding.
It's a
And
treatment.
I'm completely illiterate on this,
Hmm.
but it's a treatment in the hospital where you actually have to be hooked up to an IV. So what they've seen though is with the treatment, within days, within like a week, people are walking out. People that were deathly ill a week ago are walking out of the hospital and like completely fine, which is nice, which is a
Yeah.
huge step in the right direction, obviously. So we had their stock pop, obviously, because of that news.
yeah.
But I've seen a few some interesting takes on that pop because um, I read that there was a huge insider buy like right before the
They leaked the,
interview.
the information too. The
Yeah,
information that we're all talking about was leaked. It wasn't
It
officially
wasn't
put
supposed
out
to come
there.
out yet.
Wasn't
no,
supposed to be. So it's a little
and
sus.
prior to that, there was like a huge buy of like $80 calls, and it popped like I think it.
Options.
Yeah, I forget what it ended at for the week.
Did you
I
say
would.
that was an insider doing it, like someone at the company?
I don't know if it was someone at the company or a
If they're
big.
gonna go to jail.
Yeah, I know, or a big like a big investor. I don't know who. I forget
Yeah, I
exactly
think you
who it
just saw like
was.
crazy call volume or something like that, right? Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
before the
Yeah.
news came
Some
out.
Yeah.
some people have software. I actually don't know too much about this, but they say it on Fast Money all the time. They're like, "Oh yeah, there's a giant order, like a $3 million options trade." I'm like, "How do you know that one person did that?" But maybe they can look in some sort of
No,
software and
that's
see
all
one
public.
big
That's
buyer.
all public
Is it?
information. You just
Yeah,
have to
Okay.
look at the volume of like those contracts, yeah, because you'll
yeah,
see it like if it all happens in one shot, you know that was someone like one person that made.
Okay, because they say that
yeah,
stuff all the time, and I'm like, "How do you know that one person did that?" But I guess that would make
I know
sense.
they do say that like every day though. I've noticed
Yeah,
that.
they're like, "Some
yeah.
guy's in here hedging
That's
his bets," and I'm
that's
like,
a
"What?"
$20 million bet.
And a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of those like a lot of platforms have actual like insider trading information. Insiders being like huge investment banks, huge investment firms, whatever it may be, that are buying large volumes of the stock or large volumes of options and everything, and they tell you broken out like into what they're buying.
So you can
Um,
follow the smart money and not follow the dumb money like us.
exactly.
They know something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think that that'll be interesting though going forward because I mean, if there's, oh, we've heard about the chloroquine or whatever hydro.
Yeah, I don't think that's panned out the way that we all thought it was, because I think we'd know by now, right? We would
Yeah,
know, especially how cheap it is to produce. So I think people would be just kind of cranking those out, and it's like 80 cents a pill or something maybe. And whereas this remdesivir, I think is like $1,000 for the treatment. So some
yeah.
people are pissed off about that too.
Yeah,
Uh,
well,
but hey, it is what it is. It costs what it costs, you know. I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, people are always going to be pissed off about the price of
Right.
of any
drugs because
treatment and drug, yeah.
it just has to go through insurance and the insurance companies jack it up and all that shit. But um, going forward, though, I think that that's a pretty, as we saw this week, I think that that's a pretty bullish outlook on this whole scenario because I think that our major like green portions of the week came because of those drugs, the new treatments, the jobless claims report. I think we were flat that day, which was kind of
We
expected.
haven't reacted to those reports one time the way I thought we would. Even the first one, remember? I was like,
No,
"Oh, this is going to be
Oh,
one of the worst days in history," and we
no,
got a bounce or a
crazy.
little bit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we made some small gains that day or something like that when
yeah.
that first number came out.
I
So
think I said it. I said it this past Thursday to you guys because the jobless claims report was like 5.2 million, but they expected like 5.8 million. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna be green just because of that shit. Like,
right,
Oh
it
no,
made no
no, it was
sense.
the opposite, right? They expected less than 5.2, and then you were like, "Oh, guess we're gonna be
Oh
good."
yeah,
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 no, I remember that. I think they expected 5, and there was like a little bit more,
yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, it's worse. That
yeah, it
means we're
made
gonna
no
have
sense.
a good
yeah.
day."
I remember that the first
It
week it
was.
was the jobless claims are worse than the estimate, and we were green. And I'm going,
Yeah, to the
that was my
yeah,
whole case for going down.
Yeah, I mean, I
there you
think
go.
that I think that the market, at least the first week, kind of expected it, and then going forward the next couple of weeks, it was like, all right. I mean, we had like 6 million the first week, and now 2 weeks later, everything is closed. So
I
we're
don't even think they're
obviously
trading
gonna
off the
have.
number. I don't even think the number matters.
No, it
No.
doesn't at all.
Same thing with like earnings numbers. Like it's all out the window. No one cares. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
guidance, no one cares. Just
except
have to hurry up and like get back. Like the market just wants everyone to get back to work as soon as possible. That's all they care
yeah.
about.
What kind of made me think though is that the banks this week, when they reported earnings, they were all down, like big time.
JP Morgan got hit.
I
Yeah.
think they had some. I mean, Kramer was talking about how that call, especially the J.P. Morgan one, he didn't like what he heard on that call. So maybe they said some things that the market didn't really like. I'm not too sure. I didn't listen to that call.
Hmm.
Yeah, it went from 103 on Monday open, and on Thursday it closed at 87. So that's not a small like drop.
No.
And that's not a
J-
day where that's not a week where the market was up. So if you think about it that way. It did
True.
recover on Friday, but yeah, JP Morgan got hit pretty
Every
hard
time
on.
it's gone down to like 80 a share, it's bounced back up towards like
Yeah,
100. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a safe spot where you can just flip it. But I mean, long term, I'm not excited about those banks with low interest rates.
No, I mean that's a lot of their profit there is loans
Right.
and everything. So
yeah.
Yeah. No, we're staying away from that. But I do think that we're going to be all working quicker than we think. I think we kind of have no choice. I think that people are starting to realize now that the economy affects everybody, but not everybody will be directly affected from the virus. So it kind of just the least amount of people are affected if we go back to work. I mean, so because everybody can benefit from a stronger economy.
Yeah.
And then, we try to, take care of those people that are, with those conditions that make them higher risk and the elderly. But I think we don't really have much of a choice.
I read that we actually do have like enough testing to send everyone back to work, being
It's
that
got to be close. I mean,
yeah.
we have a number of companies that are helping out. I don't know how much more we would need.
Do you think they're gonna like? Do you think they're gonna implement like, or maybe this is what they're waiting for, like to the ability to implement like regular testing of literally the entire population, like just to make
Yeah.
sure, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
before
probably.
letting
That's what we're waiting
before
for.
letting anyone back to work, like you have
Yeah.
to have like no symptoms and like take a test and show it's negative, like pretty
Yeah.
much. That's probably it. Might be
That
like
might be a long
might
way
take a
off too,
while.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that might.
don't know. I think that the guidelines that they put out, like if they stick by those guidelines, I don't. I think it's going to take a really long time to go back to work because then you would need. They say like you need to have like 14-day period of no increase in cases and stuff like that. Like to me, I think that we could go back if we just had the testing and we just knew who was sick and who wasn't, and then everybody social distances at work, people wear masks, when possible. And then you kind of go by industry. The most essential industries maybe start going back first, and then the non-essential ones like restaurants are going to be last to open. But I think a lot of like a lot of the more essential stuff can open.
See, my point on that is I think that a lot of the industries that have capabilities to be working from home, teleworking, are going to be
They should stay
doing
doing
that
that. If they don't need to
forever.
go in, you should
Not
stay doing
forever,
that.
but for a long
I
time.
think
And
a larger percentage of their employees will be forever.
yes,
It makes a
Like
lot of
if
sense.
they were 20% remote, it might be more like 30 or 40 going
Yeah.
forward, and that's like a
yeah.
big change we're going to see, I think.
Why are you going to rent out an office building when you could just save money on not renting it? It makes no sense.
Yeah,
It's not even that. It's just like the fact of being around people. There's no reason if you can work at 100% capacity from home, why would you go into an office outside of like for a meeting or which even a
Even you
meeting
can
you
do
can
that
have.
online
Yeah,
almost
like
now. So yeah.
doesn't
true.
make sense. I mean,
Well, I
I don't
think
know.
real estate's gonna get hit a little bit when we go back to work, especially like business real estate.
Well,
Any of those like REITs, I don't think are gonna do well.
I think that real estate's going to get hit more so on the inflation side because with fucking $5 trillion being printed, $6 trillion being literally just printed,
Uh,
there's gonna be some form of inflation, and I think that the housing market was like at such a good, it was like all-time highs. It was so good up until this, and now it's like questionable.
well, you don't think it was overvalued? I
it was
think the
more of a
market was.
seller. It was more of a seller's market though, right? Like because it was so high.
Yeah, you don't want to be
It
buying it
was,
now.
yes,
That's
it was
the only
becoming
good thing about being a buyer recently was just low mortgage rates. I
Right.
mean, you
correct.
still have to pay up big time for the
Yeah.
houses, which
But people, my point being that like houses have been worth more than ever.
yeah,
So I think that with the mass inflation that's gonna occur, that's gonna just go to the shits. Like it's gonna go way down, which is kind of scary to think, honestly.
you think that, well, if inflation spikes, I mean, you think that people
Would
are going
that mean that the housing costs or the price of the houses would
you
go up
think,
if
you
there's
think
high
people are
inflation?
going to not want to buy houses, so the prices are going to go down?
I would
Because you have to lower your price, like based on supply and demand, like you'll have to lower your
correct,
price because
correct. So
you
it would
sell it.
the prices would be going up because of inflation. So I think that since they're going up and people still don't have like a $400,000 house might now be like a 650, right? But people don't have that extra 250,000 because it's all that 650 is just inflation.
Right, but wouldn't that the price eventually go down when people can't sell their house?
I think
Yes, it
they
would go
will.
down
I think they're
eventually.
going to go down
I
because
think they're gonna go down big time. People are gonna
there's
be
just going to be way less demand. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
demand and people are not gonna be able to make their loan payments. So you're gonna
Yeah.
have foreclosures
Yeah,
eventually. I
that's
mean,
another.
especially if people have a business, which is half the country, is small business, and then their business disappeared because they have like a clothing store. I mean, you're
Yeah.
donezo. You're not making your payments.
No. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I think commercial real estate's going to get hurt even worse than regular.
Right,
Like
which I'm saying with REITs. Like
oh,
nobody's gonna be buying. No
a
one's
lot
gonna
of
be.
REITs. Not all
Yeah.
REITs are commercial. Like a lot of them are residential. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
as well. But like the ones like Tanger outlets, the ones that do like the outlets
Hmm.
that Foxwoods, like those big mall retailers. Like I think Simon Property Group does a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they're gonna be hurt for a long time from this. I don't know how they're gonna.
They have
I
all
don't
the worst
know how they're gonna
businesses. If it's
recover.
a mall, that's all department stores, and those are the worst ones right now to be
Yeah,
Yeah.
levered to. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be buying Simon Property Group. Tell you that.
So, reopening the economy, what do you guys think needs to happen?
To me, it's just all about testing. People gonna go out there and take their risk. I mean, no, this isn't like a crazy illness that's gonna kill. I mean, it doesn't. It's not gonna kill most of us. So I think, like I said, the economy affects everybody. This illness won't kill everybody. So to me, it's very simple.
I think yeah, I think as long as they have the testing capacity, they'll be able to start letting people back in tranches. Like it's not gonna all happen at
Yeah.
once, obviously. Um, I don't know. What do you think about like people were like flaming Dr. Oz this week because he was saying that there's no reason to have schools closed because if we reopen them all, only 1 to 2% of the kids are gonna die.
They're not gonna. That's not 1 to 2% of the kids are
He
gonna
said
die. It's
that.
way less
I
than
think he
that.
misspoke. Did
Yeah,
he
he
say
must
that?
have.
I think he said that on TV, and that's like 6 million kids.
That's
He's
brutal.
like, fuck
That
those
was like
six
Who
a
million.
humiliation.
cares?
And everyone on Twitter was flaming him like, "Are you
They were
serious?"
gonna die
Oh
anyways.
my god!
Hilarious,
Uh,
Doctor Oz.
I don't think he
Yeah,
meant
no,
that,
yeah.
but I think he meant like of those that actually get sick, only 1 to 2% are dying. But I think he completely misspoke. And
Probably.
but he
I
wants
think
to
there
go
was.
to schools now because he thinks the kids are such low risk. What I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
but
does
it's
he
not
know?
even the kids. It's the fact that like you have so many adults in that school. You
Yeah,
have professionals that are over 65 doing part-time work. You have teachers that are anywhere from 23 to again 65, where
70.
65, yeah, 70 are like the you're getting into that range where if you get the disease, you're fucked. Yeah, the
Yeah,
23-year-old is going to be fine, fresh out of college, whatever. But that person who's been there for 20 plus years and is trying to just retire now and meet their pension, whatever, is if they get it, they're fucked. And who knows how many of the small children, the kids that are going to be carrying it and that are
Mhm.
asymptomatic, um, they go home, they go play outside, they do whatever, go to practice. Like who knows how many people they're going to be in contact with that may have it, may not have it, may have just another disease or some illness or some shit.
Well, I think
yeah.
that
Well, are
they
you
gotta.
arguing for keeping it closed, Connor?
Of
Is that what
course I am. Fuck school.
Maybe the high risk people can just not go back to work. Like maybe you do a 50 and under that work in schools go back to work, and then I mean, how many? I mean, you can get subs for certain people. I mean, I don't think every 60 year
especially
old
when
is
so many people are
essential.
looking for jobs right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah,
Like I think some
exactly.
people will be willing to like step up and take the.
Volunteer, some
Yeah.
person to
Yeah.
sit in the cafeteria and make sure the kids aren't being assholes. I mean,
I feel like a lot of millennials are almost getting to the point where they're so bored that they're willing to do anything to get out of the house.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm starting to go insane, man. And I'm someone that likes to be at home. I can't even go to the gym. It's depressing.
It is.
That's probably the worst part.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm 80 years old and I can't get going. Can't do any physical activity other than walk outside. Sucks.
Walk to the end of your
Seriously.
driveway and back.
Yeah, and then you see somebody outside and you like dart across the street so they don't cough on you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not catching COVID.
I mean, without testing, I think that we need to remain closed and we need to do so for
Okay, so
indefinitely.
if we have testing, you are for opening the economy.
To an
In
extent,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, to an extent. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
I think little tranches at a time, like little groups of people at a time. Like, all right,
Yeah.
everyone, like this age group, like that hasn't felt symptoms recently, you guys go back now, and then like another week passes, and they're like, all right, here's this tranche. Like,
We're
I
actually
don't,
in one of the worst states too, so we might go back to work
the problem is we're
last.
surrounded by
Providence is terrible.
we're
What a
surrounded
shit
by
show.
New York, New Jersey,
Yeah,
like
and they all fucking came here, those cocksuckers.
they're all really bad. They're all like in bad shape. They're in rough
Yeah.
shape. now.
Yeah.
So
And I think that our governor has been super progressive on everything. Like I think she just passed like that you have to wear masks
Yeah.
to go outside, basically.
So
Do we?
Yeah.
yeah. Meg went to Walmart today, and there's a cop at the door, and if you don't have a mask, he doesn't let you in.
Yeah.
Not even kidding.
Any
Some
like
lady
small
got turned
business.
away, and she was like flipping out at at everyone. She was like so pissed because she drove all the way there and had to leave.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would
Yeah.
suck. Yeah, I
You're
didn't
at
even get that
Walmart, just
memo.
buy a fucking mask. Be like, yo, can you just go buy me a mask and then bring it out to me and I'll wear it? Like, you're at Walmart.
They probably don't need. Everyone is like
Yeah,
so.
no, there's no
Yeah,
way
yeah.
there's masks in stock.
Buy a piece of cloth. Like a mask
Yeah, you could buy
nowadays
some
is
Give
just
me a
like a piece
shirt
of
and I can
cloth.
just
Yeah,
like put it on my mouth.
exactly.
That's good enough. Yeah, just tie a
Yeah.
shirt on your face.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, so like shit like that makes me think that we're gonna be going back so much earlier because we're so progressive on all of this shit. Like we shut down early, and the whole mask thing.
It's been like a month, right? Has it been a full month? Was it like mid-March?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have no idea when the like stay-at-home order was, but like I don't know. The social
I've been-
like when do you think the beginning was when like the social distancing went into effect?
So I've been working from home for exactly a month now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
My
about,
last day in the office was March 16th, and it's now April 18th. So a month and 2 days.
Yeah, that's probably around the same time I went partially remote around like the middle of March, I think.
Yeah. And that was like the start of it. So like that, I think by the end of that week, so like March 20th, March 21st was when everything kind of shit the bed. And I think that was actually the first week of the podcast too. That was when everything kind of went crazy because we were like, all right, we need to talk about this shit.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why we started this shit.
Yeah. So yeah, a little over a month. I mean, I see us in particular potentially going back earlier, but I also see us in particular not because our
When you
governor's
say
been
us, you mean our state?
our state, yes. But I also see us not because our governor has been so progressive about everything that she's
She's
taking
being
every
extra
precaution.
careful. Yeah, she's being
Yeah.
extra careful. She is.
Yeah.
I think the next date for them to even look at reopening is like May 13th because I work with a small business owner and that's what she told me. She said so we're not doing anything until May 13th, like earliest, and it's she has a sports. She's a small business that has to do with volleyball, so I mean that's not the sports and recreation is going to be some of the last things to return. It's just not
Yeah, of
essential.
course. I think
Yeah.
it's just
And
not necessary.
it's going to be interesting too. I mean, I know is the MLB still back on? I know that they started
Weren't they going to do something weird like only play the games in like Arizona or
in
something?
Florida.
Yeah,
They're only playing it.
Arizona. Yeah.
Oh, Arizona. Okay.
Thought so.
Yeah, it was Arizona.
Yeah, and there's no crowds.
Yeah.
Either, I don't think. Yeah.
Well, why, they should have just done that with the NBA too. Like keep the games going and like
Yeah.
nobody in the
Yeah.
fans.
Well,
This
and
I
has
just,
think
like,
been
with
so depressing.
four or
the
five
NBA
cameramen and like some coaches.
with the NBA, I think it was a bit different because there was actual players that had the disease.
Yeah, that idiot got sick after. Do you see what that guy
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert like touched all the microphones.
He's
Yeah,
like, this thing's stupid, and like 2 days later,
so
he's sick.
that though. Yeah, he didn't realize he's just some French guy. He didn't realize what he was doing.
Yeah, he didn't know any better.
Yeah.
That
So I
poor
think
guy.
I think
They don't-
had that not happened, they definitely would have been doing something different. But
Yeah, like
I mean,
three
right
of
now
his
it should
teammates.
be right now it should be fucking playoff hockey right now. So like
Yeah,
We're
and
missing. We
basketball.
missed the best sports season, which is
yeah.
the March to like May is just like it's beautiful. You got like playoff hockey, you got playoff basketball, you got March Madness. You know, there's just so much stuff that we just missed. Oh,
Yeah.
so sad.
Luckily we at least caught the Super Bowl. That's good. We had a nice little bang to go out on. Caught that, but since then obviously there's been nothing.
Yeah, we don't even get the friggin' Olympics anymore. It's like what
Oh,
the
yeah.
hell?
You gotta wait another
got
year
pushed-
on that.
That's going to be interesting too to see because it's 2021 they're doing it, and
Yeah.
or 2020.
Now it's gonna be all like screwed up. I don't know if
So
they're gonna.
are they going to go back like now? Are they going to do 3 years from
The
that? Or
odd
are they going
numbers?
to do 4 years
I don't
from that?
I
That's
don't
going to
know.
be fucked.
They'll probably just keep the next one whenever the.
I feel like yeah, they would just
Yeah,
keep
I
it
mean
the next
I'm
schedule.
pretty sure
planned year.
I'm pretty sure they schedule like 5 Olympics out.
Yeah, they do. People that are doing it in like 2024 already know that it's gonna be there because they build entire stadiums and shit for that.
Oh yeah, I mean look at like Rio, Summer Olympics in Rio.
Yeah, that was
4
insane.
years ago. That whole economy is fucked right now because of it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they built like They built like on the water hotels. They built like a whole stadium.
Oh, and well, I don't think it's that bad down there though, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty poor down there. It's,
Yeah.
Yikes.
It
yeah.
brought a lot of it brought a lot of people in for the Olympics, obviously, but since
Right.
then it's been like, what do we do? How do we upkeep all of these buildings that we just built and all of this whole stadium, like everything that we just built?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think next week we have some pretty interesting earnings. We have a lot of biotech companies, and then a lot of tech companies.
Tech.
Yeah, and then a few airlines, I believe. I think American Airlines is reporting, potentially Delta too. I forget exactly,
I'm
but
trying the calendar right now. I want to see what it is.
I think it's gonna be interesting though, especially the biotechs and the techs. So like Netflix is reporting, I think on Wednesday. Same with Snapchat, which are two that people have been probably using out the fucking ass.
Yeah, but everyone's saying that the ad revenue's down in all the social media companies.
Yes, yes.
So engagement's up, ad revenue down.
Yeah, like even well, this one's obvious, but I put in the notes. Expedia is gonna spend less than, obviously it's a travel company, but less than $1 billion on ads this year, and they usually spend $5 billion.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, like a lot of that money goes to the big like Google, Facebooks of the world.
Yeah, it's mostly
Yeah.
Facebook and Google.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We have another bank. I mean, we have Ally Bank Monday, which is, I mean, I have an account there, but it's like an all online bank. They have no retail branches, so I'm curious to see if they even are hurt by this. They might hold up a lot better than like the ones with the physical footprint. With like
Are they like an
Chase Bank.
investment bank, or are they what kind of
No, like a normal like retail
just
bank.
regional?
I mean, you can open a trading account there, but it's mostly like they're known for their high yield savings accounts and CDs and stuff.
Yep.
So that should be interesting. What else do we got here? AT&T on Wednesday.
AT&T has
Verizon,
not
yeah.
bounced the way that Verizon bounced, and I wonder if
Yeah.
it's because they have a lot of debt, and
Verizon
that's the only
just
thing I can think.
Did you see that?
What'd you say?
Verizon bought a new company last week.
Yeah, it's a to compete with Zoom, right?
I think
Correct.
Video.
it's called like Blue Jeans. Blue
Yeah.
Jeans.
Yep. And it's a video
Yeah.
chat service, kind of like exactly like Zoom.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe did they bounce off of that news or no? Maybe I know it was a cheap.
They went up a little. They went up a little bit off the news.
It was
But
like
Yeah,
less
they've
than.
been acting so much better than AT&T. AT&T was at
Yeah.
like 40 before this whole thing hit the fan, or close to it, and then it's down to 30. I think it went as low as 27, but now it's hanging around 30. So it's definitely not bouncing with everybody else.
I think
But
that
I think the thing is the debt is probably the point. Like,
But can't
like,
they refinance their debt with no interest rates, basically?
what? Because of what? The government thing?
Yeah, well, because I'm saying interest rates are at zero right now, so can they refinance their debt?
That doesn't mean they can get zero though.
Oh, I don't know how it works. I'm
No,
asking.
that's
based on
the
business.
zero is like the bank lending rate from
Yeah.
like the overnight lending rate for the banks. Like someone
But
like
doesn't that influence the other bank,
yeah,
like
no,
where
of
they get
course.
it from?
A company
Yeah.
like AT&T with as much debt as they have, like they don't have the best credit rating either. So like they're not going to get they'll get a decent rate, but it's not going to be that low.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll probably be lower than what they have. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. But yeah, it won't be zero.
Yeah, I gotta believe they'd be able to get a lower rate.
The only
And
thing
that's
is,
kinda
it's
all
just
I'm
all
asking.
about if they have the cash to service the interest payments on their debt, and like how
Yeah.
long can that last? And that's really all people look at when they look at those heavy debt-ridden companies.
And I think too, in the case of AT&T, I don't believe that they're a big contender in the 5G world, whereas Verizon is. And
I
I
mean, they
think
have one
that,
of the largest networks.
yeah, but I don't,
It's either the largest or the second largest. I mean,
but
everybody's on
I
AT&T
still
or
don't
Verizon.
think that they're like being as progressive and as innovative in it as Verizon
Well,
is.
their network isn't. I mean, I used to work in the telecom industry, so I know that their network is not anything really compared to what Verizon's network is. I mean,
Yeah.
Verizon's just by far the best network, but I
Yeah.
mean, they do have a really large network. It's the second
Yeah, they
largest,
do.
so. Or
Yeah.
it might even be the largest, but the quality is
I
just
think
not there.
they've been trying to catch up to Verizon, I think, though, right? Like they're closing the gap a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
In terms
they've been
of like
trying to.
in terms of
Yeah,
network strength and like
right.
I mean,
across
yeah,
the
I can
country.
tell you, I had AT&T and then I switched from AT&T to Verizon.
Well, it's shitty down here.
Yeah,
AT&T is really bad over here.
AT&T sucks.
Yeah, it depends where you are. It
Yeah.
depends where you are. Like we had to get Verizon at my parents' house when I lived there because it was the only thing that worked in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Literally the only thing.
Yeah, my service never worked in like large buildings. It just didn't work.
If people are looking for a dividend company, I mean, would you recommend AT&T here? I mean, do you think the dividend's safe?
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. I don't.
Yeah,
So
I
it
don't.
could be a nice
like
little buy here, AT&T then. At a
like you
nice
said,
discount.
they're like
It
their
could be.
second largest telecom company, obviously. And like Alex said, I don't think that the dividend will be going anywhere. I mean, they definitely have enough cash to service that.
Yeah, they got a new streaming thing coming too, right? They're HBO,
Well,
right?
they own Comcast, and
Yeah,
Comcast has
Yeah, that's what
Peacock.
it.
Comcast has that Peacock thing coming out.
Yep.
Peacock.
Uh, yeah.
So that
You
could be
remember
good.
back in the day, like when you'd watch it's like NBC or anything like that, you'd see like this, like the symbol would like be this
Yeah.
thing like, opening up with all the colors. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
like the peacock feather.
Yeah.
It's like the tail of a peacock. I guess it's always been based off of that.
Your mic
I'm
just
actually
lagged and you just
curious.
said
I think
cock,
I
so
think
it was funny.
AT&T, AT&T, I think might be like just as big as in
As
terms of
Verizon?
market. Yeah, AT&T is 225 billion, which is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a
I
And
big.
thought isn't
and
Verizon like
Verizon
350?
Verizon's 240, yeah,
Oh wow,
240.
okay.
So they're
So they're
like the
really
same.
they're really close.
Yeah. So I think
But
that's a good little buy there. If someone's looking for some dividend, I think
some
you can get
What's
income,
that.
yeah.
what's the yield? Do you know?
It's like 5, dude.
AT&T now, I'll have to
I
check.
can tell you in a second. I have it in my watch
Probably,
list, I think.
probably like 6.5 or something. I don't know. It
Yeah.
depends. It's what, at $31 right now?
Yeah, it's low right now. I mean,
It
it's
actually
real
had a
low.
nice day on Friday.
Yeah,
The yield is 6.9, dude.
Oh my god.
yeah.
That's a
Huge.
thickie right there. You could
Yeah.
have got that like below 30 and you could have been eating good.
Eating
Yeah.
good. Um, all right, I think we'll wrap it up there then, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Solid place to end.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this coming week just to see all of the shit show earnings reports.
Yeah. Like the airlines especially.
Yeah, so I think next week we'll have some goodies to talk about. But all right, thank you everyone for listening. Episode 5 of Free Money in the Market. See you guys.
See you,
Yeah.
man. Take it easy.